Hey, hello everyone. How are you? How are you? Welcome to my channel. My name is Marcy Turner, and it is a pleasure to see you. We are in the month of December. And what is this month? It is Do It December, and it is day 6 of Do It December. And so I want to thank everybody for coming, joining, watching, subscribing, liking my channel, all that good stuff, right? All right, let's get right to it. I know people will get on live and they can look at the replay if they like to, but I really like when people get on when they look at the replay to them to get right to it. So, baby, let's get right to it. So, Lord, I just thank you for this post. I thank you for each person watching, and I thank you that it hits them right in the heart where you want them to feel it, God, so that they may not just be hearers of your word, but doers of your word also, in Jesus' name. Okay, so day 6 for Do It December. Let's just talk about, first of all, what is Do It December? Do It December is anything that God has told you to do. Anything that God has told you to do. I feel like I'm on my laptop right now, and this is my first time, so I'm trying to see, did it look when I look right in the camera, or is it okay if I look right here? I'm not sure. Okay, I'll have to look and see for tomorrow, and then I'll have to like work it out. So I just look at myself for now, okay? So you know what I'm looking at. Okay, so anywho, Do It December. Do It December is for anything that God has called you to do that you've been putting off, that you haven't done. You have a goal, you have a dream. There's a task, plural, right, that He has given you that you have yet to do. You have yet to accomplish that. Some of you may have started like me, but not finished. And some of you just haven't even started. And some of you, because you lack accountability, you haven't even told anybody. And that's okay too. If you don't always share what God has called you to do or what you're supposed to do is what you want to do, that's okay too. But what's not okay is it's you haven't even shared it with anybody to the point where nobody even knows this thing. So there's no one even holding you accountable for not even what you're doing. Now that's where it's an issue. Okay, so I'm here to encourage you this month, in the month of December, to do what God has called you to do, to finally take the steps necessary to make that thing happen. For some of you, it's just one thing, it's one step, and that's it. You're done, right? I know how God is. It may be the one step, but He's going to lead you to do something else, but that's for later. So it may be, like I said, the one thing, but like some of you, like me, it may be a thing He told you to start, or a place He told you to go, or something He told you to say, to speak, to start a group, to start something, whatever that is. And it takes multiple steps to get that thing done. And that's where I am, right? And so that's why I'm using this month for the Do It December month. And so if that's you, I promise you, you're not alone. Me too. I'm talking to me first. And that's where this all started. Okay. So, with that being said, December 6th, day 6 of Do It December is your past is not your future. I'm going to say that again because I wanted to sink in. Baby, your past is not your future. Not nothing that you've done, not nothing that you've said, not nothing that you've seen, not nothing that you've experienced that you have to take into your future just because it happened in the past. And so I'm going to share a few stories of my own. And I say these are some personal stories. Okay. So y'all get ready for some tea, baby. Get some personal stuff I'm going to share with you. And pop my feet up here. Okay. So here's how I know it's so important with this. Your past is not your future. Okay. So let me share you this first story. And this first story is the hardest, most personal, intimate story that I could share. I have a son. I have an older son, and he deals with some pretty severe mental health challenges, right? And so I'm trying to maneuver through how to what should I do, what the timing is. Should I go all out? Should I go hard? Should I go soft? Should I go in between? Like when to speak, when to pull back, when to show love, when to be stern. Do I make a decision to where this needs to be taken care of, or do I wait? Let me pray. Like all these things, right? I got these things and trying to figure out how to maneuver through it all, right? But the reason why that's been such a challenge for me is this, is I'm referencing my past for the things that I'm trying to figure out for the future, because I had a son that was 21 years old by the name of Jalil Turner, and I loved him so much. And he was dealing with mental health challenges. And about 4.5 years ago, he took his own life because of those mental health challenges. And it was a very hard thing on myself, a very hard thing on my family, a very hard thing for his friends. I mean, it's just hard. So it's difficult when I see my oldest son dealing with the current mental health challenges. It's difficult not to reference my past and what happened to my son that passed away from dealing with his mental health challenges. But my past and what happened with my son in the past is not my current situation that's happening with my son that's living and currently dealing with mental health challenges. First of all, they're two different people. They handle situations completely different. And the things that are going on in my first son's mind is not necessarily the things that are going on in my older son, my younger son's mind that passed away. Y'all know what I'm saying, right? How this oldest son handles the stress and the mental health things, and my younger son that passed handles stress and things happening, hard things. Two different kids, two different children, two different young men. So for me to reference my past is, it makes it very difficult. It makes it very difficult to make wise decisions. It makes it very difficult to have a sound mind, which when you're trying to make decisions with an unsound mind, you get double-minded and confusion can set in. And that's where the enemy can come in. And that's part of the reason why we don't move forward with doing the things that God has called us to do. Me too. I'm no different. Right? And so if that's you, not necessarily mental health, it could be, but if that's you, it could be a relationship, like more of an intimate relationship. It could be a friendship. It could be someone that you're just starting to date and you're just really not sure, right? Or it just could be a scary situation because all you know is what you know, and you don't know this new thing. And it's okay that you don't know this new thing, but what's not okay is that you keep referencing the old thing to help you move forward with the new thing. And you can't do that, because I understand if this is something that you're trying to accomplish that you've never accomplished before, then it means it's something that you've never done. And it's something that you've never done, then you're going to need God's help to do it, not the past thing. The only thing in the past that you should be referencing is your past successes. I mean, sometimes we need to reference our past failures, but as a learning opportunity. What we learned from it. Why didn't it work? Okay, I know not to do that the next time, right? Okay, so that's my first story. My second story is this. Years ago, I lived in a low income apartment. It was, I want to say maybe 18 years, something like that. I lived in a low income apartment. I was a single mom with 3 kids in that low income apartment. And I really, really, really wanted a house. I really wanted a house really bad. And so I started to pray to God to bless me with a house. And God didn't answer, daughter, I'm going to give you a house. I prayed for the house, and then God gave me an assignment to do this thing. Now, this thing was to start a dance class in my apartment complex. It was low income, so it was full of single moms, and guess what? It was full of kids. And so I've been a dancer all my life. I used to dance professionally, all that. And so God was telling me to start a dance class with the children that were in the apartment complex. So I said, okay. And I did it honestly out of my comfort zone. And there were like three teenage girls that I went over like to the playground area and I spoke with. And I'm like, okay, oh, we had a great conversation. I'm going to start a dance group. Are you guys going to come? And they were like, yes. Oh my God. And I was like, oh my God, Lord, it's working. They're going to come and I'm going to be obedient to you. And it's going to be amazing, right? I'm like, well, I'm going to be here Thursday at 7 o'clock. Just be right here. And baby, I went and they ain't showed up. They ghosted me. And I was so hurt. I was so hurt that, you know what? I told God, I said, God, I'm never doing what you told me again. Don't you dare do that. I did. I won't be doing that again. I know better. But I told God, I'm never doing what you tell me again. Like I felt like you left me out here to look like a fool, right? And so about a year and a half goes by and I still didn't do it. I kept my word, right? But apparently God kept his because I asked God, remember, for the house. And God told me to do this. And I chose this. I chose to be disobedient because I looked like a fool and my feelings was hurt. And so I remember the feeling coming back up after about a year and a half of wanting the house again. And the feeling came back up, and then God reminded me of that dance class. And oh my God, I did not want to do that. But I thought, okay, that's when I realized God was not going to give me something without obeying this instruction that He had given me. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do it. So I went to the apartment complex manager and I asked them if I could use, there was a room behind the office that nobody used. I looked in the window one day and it was just an empty thing. And she was like, sure, you can clean it out. It was a nice little space room. And I said, okay, we cleaned it out. And what I did was I started to talk to the kids in the neighborhood, the apartment complex, and I invited them. And I'll talk about that later in my class that I'm going to start. But the bottom line is, do you know those kids showed up and showed out, baby? It was bomb. It was so good. It was so many kids. I don't even remember how many. It was so awesome. It was kids inside the room, outside the room. I turned on the music. They was dancing everywhere. It was like I was a Pied Piper, baby, and they was coming. And it was amazing. God blew my mind. And I kept that dance class going until guess when? God blessed me with a house and I moved up out of there. Obedience is the key. But baby, I didn't reference that past thing is what I'm trying to tell you. If I had continued to reference that past hurt when those three girls that I initially talked to didn't show up, who knows where I would be right now. You know how much longer I would have stayed? And that low income apartment was towed up. I mean, it was selling drugs out of there. They was doing stuff. I didn't feel safe. It was people shooting. It was people selling drugs. I mean, it was off the chain. And I had to get my babies up out of there. And so stop thinking about the things that hurt you when it comes to you referencing your past. If God has asked you to do something, God knows what happened and He knows how it made you feel. But none of those things, hear me, are valid reasons not to complete the assignment that He's put on your life. It's not. And it wasn't for me, and it's not for you. And the third thing I'm going to share as far as your past not being your future is I had a conversation just today with somebody. And basically, the conversation was a fear was raising up within them about moving forward in an area that they hadn't been vulnerable in years, in a like really long time. Why? Because they had been referencing their past, as we do often. And although this person's past may have been hurtful, and this present may even start off like this present thing may even start off looking familiar, right? It's not their past. It wasn't their past, and it's not your past. So their past is not their future. Just like your past is not your future. Just like with the stories I shared, my past is not my future. All I have control of is the present. Let me share this with you when you can tell the difference between the devil and God, a lie and the truth. When you referencing the past, and it's like all these past things that are hurtful, all these past things that make you question who you are, all these past things that make you uncertain of where you're going to go and if this thing will work if I try it. That's the devil. Those are lies. Even if they're facts, they're still lies because they're not God's truth. Do you understand what I'm telling you? And how you know it's God? If he's telling you to do something that usually quite requires more of the faith or strength that you think you have, that's how you know that it's God. Because he's going to stretch you some. And I ain't talking about nothing crazy, that obviously it's not God, that's something illegal or something like y'all get what I'm saying, right? When you can't stop thinking about it. It wakes you up in the morning. You go to sleep thinking about it. That is God. So I'm going to tell you exactly what I've been saying day 1 through 5 on here now, day 6. Figure out the one thing that you're supposed to do. The one thing that that's in your heart that you would love to see it happen. And it may even scare you a little bit. And that's okay. God is not going to give you a task to do and not provide the provisions to make it happen. And I'm talking to me first. I'm not exempt of looking at my past and try to make it my future, or putting it in my present, which stops me from wanting to move forward in my future. I'm guilty of that too. I'm guilty of that and a lot more. But again, it doesn't absolve us from obeying the call that God has on our lives. He gave you gifts and talents for a reason. He gave you a purpose for a reason, and he gave you this dream and vision and goal for a reason. You are the man for the job. You are the woman for the job. You can do it. Okay, so write that thing down. Whatever it is, get it in your heart, figure it out, write it down. And I want you to write down the first step of what it will take to get it done. Just the first step. And don't be trying to do nothing that is so small you can't even, nobody, it don't even register on the meter. Write down the first step. And I want you to take the step and move forward. And I would love to hear about it and write it in the chat, even if you watch the replay, okay? All right. I'm so super excited to hear about everything from everyone. I'm looking forward. You're amazing, and I know you can do it, okay? All right. I love you. I care about what happens to you, and you matter. Join me every night this week, 7 p.m., right here on my YouTube channel at All Things Marcy. Marcy's with a Y. I love you. Be blessed. Mwah. Peace. I'll see you tomorrow.